You my babe, you my gift, you my all of the above. You get dick, you get gifts, you get all of the above. Stay down, all of the above. I'm in lust, I'm in love, I'm in all of the above.
105.5 The Beat, it's your man DJ Quest, and we're inside of the Sam Galloway Lincoln Live Lounge. And for the first time, I got my brother Plies in the building, man.
What's up, bro?
Y'all can make some noise for Plies. I mean, jeez. All right, man.
I told y'all, it's rich over here, man. I thought we was in Naples.
Welcome home, man. Welcome home. How's it feel to come back home? Like, every time you come back, how's it feel, man?
It's always good. I told you, I don't even realize I'm here yet because I just woke up, but it's good, man. Like I always tell people, man, like, contrary to the belief, you know, people are always cordial to me on this side. So, you know, I feel like I put in a lot of groundwork, you know what I mean, to be in the position that I'm in. But to me, it's great because I get to take everything that I learned, you know what I mean, in the city, and I get to take it around the country and showcase it. So for me, I'm always happy to be here.
You done came a long way, man, from promoting shows.
So? You think so?
How's Big Bro, man?
Hey, man.
What's up with him? How you doing?
Bruh. I talked to him earlier. You know, he let me do all the leg work.
Yeah, you and him are like, I want to say you and him are like Bow Wow and Little Mama. You never see me in the same place at the same time.
Nah, last time we was in the same place at the same time, we went to jail. So we always said, nah, we can't be in the same places at the same. Well, we go to New York together. You know what I mean?
That's about it?
Yeah, but besides that, and he stay away from this side of it, you know what I mean? Like, being in the situation he done been in, falling twice, going to prison twice. He know it's still in him. Some things he can't still be around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I respect it, you know what I mean? Like, he know on my end for years, this is just this the part I gotta go out here and bring back, so it's cool.
A lot of people always mention that when we talk about like the top Southwest Florida artists, they never say Plies is number one because they say that you're not here no more.
Yeah.
Now, you look at the situation with XXX and other rappers that stayed home. When was it that moment you said, I got to get the hell up out of here?
It wasn't never a moment for me. Mine kind of happened by default. Like, when I left and I was playing ball, I left then. You know what I mean? So when I went to Miami, Ohio, I was there. And then what happened was when I ended up flunking out and running into my little situation there, I went to Tampa because I didn't want to let my mama know that I was out of school. So I went there, you know what I mean? So then I ended up getting a place there. And I was just running back and forth from Tampa here. And she ain't know for probably about 12 to 18 months after. I wasn't in school no more. So what I ended up doing, trying to outsmart the system, trying to outsmart her, should I say, I just got me a crib in Tampa. And that's kind of really how I ended up leaving the city.
Yeah.
So
I thought it was when you started your career. I didn't know that you...
Nah, it wasn't ever a moment for me that I was here.
Straight out of high school, gone.
Yeah, it wasn't ever a moment for me that I was like here. And then I said, hey man, I need to get away. Like, when I ended up going to play ball, that was, you know, kind of the...
Let's talk about ball.
Yeah.
Now, you was a ball at Fort Myers High. What you, running back?
Yeah, receiver.
Receiver, okay. I was at Port Charlotte. We was balling back then. Yeah. And we had beasts that played at Fort Myers and surrounding schools. Jamie German, Edrin James, Javon Curse. What was the big dude at your school? We call him Earth or something like that?
Nah, Feed the World.
Feed the World! Oh my gosh. Like, I'm looking now and a lot of the local talent are leaving Florida, man. What's going on with that?
I was disappointed in my school. I looked up Fort Myers like yesterday, I think. And I seen I had lost to Dunbar like 19-11.
Yeah. There's some ballers at Fort Myers now, like Cy.
That's one thing I say about the city. Like, high school wise, that ain't never changed. I think the difference, and one of my guys with me, he went to Mark Lee. But I was telling him, like, when I used to tell people about Fort Myers back when I was in school, and I used to tell them at the time, I think we probably had 11 to 12 high schools, and they used to be like, man, ain't no way y'all got that many high schools.
Exactly.
But now it's probably 20-something, I'm assuming.
You can't keep up with them.
Yeah. So
they popping up everywhere.
It's different from a competitive standpoint, because when you're trying to play against the St. Thomas Aquinas of the world and the elite schools and elite institutions, most of those schools are just, 10, 12 schools in a major city.
Yeah.
But now you in Southwest Florida, where you got, 20-some options that you can go to school at. So I think that break up building powerhouses around here.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
But at the same time, I was in Tallahassee a few months ago at a camp that they was doing at Florida State, and I ran into a lot of the cats from Dunbar that was up there. So it was the other cat that was out of Lehigh.
Yeah.
That's balling. So I think in this area, football is still competitive. It's still always good.
But why are the students not going to Florida colleges?
I think it's a couple reasons. I think the Florida institutions got to recruit the players first.
Yeah.
But for me, I look at it and I say, you got different things. Like I was talking to somebody, I was telling them, if you going to Alabama, you already know what it is when you're going there.
Yeah.
You know the environment that Nick Saban possessed. So if you don't want to be challenged, you ain't even going to Alabama. If you don't want to be held accountable, you're not even going to Alabama, period. So for me, I feel like that's what make Alabama, because they getting the players who want to be disciplined. They getting the players who want to be coached hard. So they getting the right players just because people are already going there knowing what they want.
Did you get recruited by any Florida schools?
I got recruited by I took a visit to University of Florida. Back at the time, I think Miami, that's when they came and got Jamie. Mm-hmm. I think it was Coach Keogh. He was recruiting this area. But UF was the only school in Florida. I don't think, at the time, we didn't have FIU. And
none of that?
Yeah, we didn't have.
And UCF was whack back then?
Yeah, I mean, that was the Culpepper era.
Culpepper, yeah.
Yeah. So I think now, even with them, they didn't turn the corner. And I feel like, they being competitive. But anytime you look at the big three in the state, which is Florida State, Miami, and Florida, I just think, for me, looking at it, man, it's just...
What's your team?
I don't have one. The reason I don't have one, because I'm just a state guy, like the entire.
I was going to bet. I was going to say, let's bet some money on the game.
No.
Come on, I'm trying to get some of that Plies already. Come on.
I'm a state guy. Like people,
I'm trying to be happy.
And look, bro, like people always, my affiliation with Willie, I get it, with Tiger. But I always tell people, when you come from where we come from, like it or love it, how couldn't you not be a fan of Tiger? Like, and I'm going to tell you the reason I say that. You got a dude that came from right up the street, Bradenton. Come from where we come from. Story is similar to ours.
Kind of like Andrew Gillum, right?
Yeah, bingo.
Yeah.
A dude that started from the bottom. I had an opportunity to be around him outside of football and seeing that, he was about the right things to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then to see it lead when he left Western Kentucky, he came to South Florida. That's the opportunity I had to meet him. He embraced me, embraced my situation. He wasn't one of the guys that, due to the type of music that I made, he wanted to politicize our relationship. It was never that.
Yeah.
Then when he went to Oregon, I was a big fan from, afar when he went there. And then to have an opportunity to get the dream job and be at Florida State, I always tell people, it's cool to like who you like.
Yeah.
But when you look at the dynamics of it, especially for people that look like us and come from the bottom, whether you white, black, or whatever, that's a great look if he succeeds, to me. True. Is my beliefs. But I know the rival blood so deep, whether it's at UM or whether it's at UF, I get it and I understand it. But for me, just as a person, I feel it's hard to root against it.
So let's fast forward, all right? Football career is over. Mm-hmm. You're out of college. At what point did you say, we're going to make this music work?
I never said it. My brother said it.
Because one of the more famous lines in the local song is, me and you ain't got to talk about nothing. You owe me. Yeah. You play that phrase in the club and the whole club sings the rest of that.
I'm gonna back up a little bit.
Was that the first record?
Nope.
What was the first record? It was Tell 'Em. Yeah. I'm not gonna say the rest of it.
I was hoping you didn't.
We're gonna call the record Tell 'Em.
Yeah.
I remember that record.
That can be whoever. But to back up a little bit about something you said about, when you mentioned Fort Myers or Southwest Florida.
Yeah.
How people feel about me not being here. I always feel like it's a gift and it's a curse.
It is.
I think you can win and stay here. But one thing that having an opportunity to kind of understand politics now a little bit more than I ever did, especially when I was here. I never even knew that I lived in a red state.
You know what? I ain't know to the last election.
Bro, I had no clue.
Yeah.
And now to see, regardless of whatever your political beliefs are, in my opinion, for me to look and see some of the rallies that was held in Estero, to kind of see the energy of the people in the room and in the building. Mm-hmm. Believe it or not, I felt some kind of way about that.
Did you get the vote? Did you vote?
Yeah. But for me, I felt some kind of way because I'm cool with believing in what you believe in.
Yeah.
For me, I've been blessed to do well financially, so
very blessed.
Tax cuts to me, I'm just not a person to say I like him because he's gonna give me tax cuts.
Okay.
Because I feel like when you do well for yourself, it shouldn't be about you no more.
You're right.
I personally feel once you do well for yourself, it shouldn't even be about you because you're doing well. It should be about the people who you still trying to bring up and pull along with you. So for me, to know that this kind of environment is an environment that I grew up in, it made a lot of more things clear to me on why I thought it was always tough and difficult to make it.
Started to make sense, connecting the dots, right?
It made all the sense in the world, too.
Since I'm talking about politics, Kanye.
Yeah.
When you first heard him, well, you can take it back to George Bush don't like black people, but when you first seen him in the office calling Donald Trump a superhero or Superman, whatever, like a father figure, how do you feel about that?
Like I told somebody, I think, that's what make America America. Like, we're all allowed to be different in our own regards. We're allowed to feel how we feel. I'm fine if we don't agree on politics or social issues, or I'm cool with that. Like I tell people all the time, my only thing about what's currently going on, I don't even like to use the term hate because I feel like that's a powerful word. I don't think I hate nobody. But I'm just not a person who can side with you if through your lens, the only way you feel good about yourself is if you see somebody else hurt. I can't support that.
That's real.
I'm cool with, if we just see things differently, I'm fine with that. But anytime you got to see someone else hurt in order for you to feel good about you, I can never be a fan of that.
See, I like talking to you because you smart. Like, it surprised me that a lot of people, when they realize you got an education, like, what? Plies got an education? Like, why shouldn't he? Like, what's wrong with a black man having an education?
Well, I was gonna let you.
Why is that a problem?
I was gonna let you big me up a little bit.
I'm saying though, I'm saying.
No, because somebody asked me this in another interview, and I was telling them, I said, when I went to Miami, Ohio, and I left, got into that situation academically, and then I went to enrolled in University of South Florida. I was just there at that point. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I hadn't lost focus of what it was that, that was the first time I wasn't playing ball. So I had figured out Sallie Mae that I could get some free financial aid money, so I was getting me a $3,000 refund check and I was just balling.
I'll never forget in one of our interviews, you said, why is it that having a college education isn't considered being real?
I think that's where the gap come.
But the killers and the murderers and the drug dealers are real.
I think that's where the gap come from with us. Like I stated earlier, like financially, at some point, the elite didn't want to see us get money. Then we figured out how to get money. And then when they seen when we got the money, all we did was blow the money. They stopped fearing us getting the money now. So now, the last two things left that they hope we never wake up about is the education and the politics.
Yeah, that's real.
So for me, it's something that I never had an opportunity yet was to graduate from college, but it's something that I thought about.
I think you're making enough money that your degree probably don't matter right now. Like,
but that was something for me, Quest, that contrary to how the streets looked at certain things, I think that's the one thing that make me me, is that I never cared about that. Like, I was too smart. Like, I was too smart to understand it doesn't matter to me, it doesn't matter if I ain't been to jail 50 times or I ain't been to prison 3 or 4 times, because I don't think you can find a person that's in prison that you walked in an institution and you told them if anybody want to leave, they can leave, that somebody would stay there.
Stay there, exactly.
So I never got caught up in that. I never got caught up in what. It's some things about being real, they apply to me. Loyalty is a big part of being real. Like, that's something that I'm going to stand on that. But it's some things that the streets put up on the wall that just never make sense to me. So that was just one of those things. And I think, especially for the people that's currently still in it, the younger cats, like, that's where you got to really realize and not be a crash dummy and really understand the purpose, because everybody ain't gonna tell you what it really is, the do's and the don'ts, and the things that you shouldn't even be paying attention to when you're in the street. So for me, I just had an opportunity to kind of think on my own, and some things just never applied to me.
Let's talk about the real reason why you're here. You got a new single, man.
That ain't the real reason.
Man, come on, bruh. Come on,
that ain't
bruh.
The real reason I'm here.
You've been on the road working, man.
I think, to me, I don't look at it that way. You know, I have an opportunity when you have time, your schedule free up when you hit me, and, you know, we converse or talk about whatever we talking about, music. I think this why I'm here. You know, the people in this room, like this.
Actually, the last time you were here, we just hung out, ate pizza and chicken wings.
This particular record, Quest is like.
What the pizza at, by the way? I just realized that.
Yeah.
Where the food at?
Yeah, this record is different for me, because you know how I move. Like, I don't do it the record label, the Atlantic Records way first.
Yeah. I
usually do it in the streets and then get it to react and get it to work, and then Atlantic come in.
Jump on it, yeah.
But this time here, I just felt this situation was different. Like, I wanted to do it the right way. I wanted to do it this way that allowed me to do something that I hadn't done probably since my second album, maybe, to go station to station through the whole entire state. Like, I haven't done that. And one thing I didn't want to lose that. Like, I didn't want to lose that this part of the game is still important. I don't come here as a starving artist, as a begging artist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for me to do it this time, that was the message that I really wanted to send, that for me, it's just in me. Like, if I have to start my grind over to how it was when I first got in the game, like, I like to challenge myself to still be able to do that.
I'll never forget, before radio even started playing you, man, you had the streets unlocked. You and your brother would hit me up and ask for advice on how to get on radio. Like what are the steps y'all should take? And looking years later at you now, bro, like, I gotta commend you. Like, for real, like, y'all came a long way. And you was performing over a mixtape.
Yeah. And I remember I was telling, actually, me and my brother was talking about this, but I was telling to another artist, like, I remember when the mixtape caught, and I was in Naples, and somebody gave me $3,500. I said, man, they gonna give me $3,500 to stand up here for 15, 20 minutes. You know what I mean? And at the time, we was running back and forth to Miami doing something we ain't had no business doing, and the profit wasn't even $3,500. So I was like, they gonna give me $3,500 to stand up here for 30 minutes. And that was like the biggest thing in the world to me at the time. Like,
hey, I got an event I got coming up.
What's up?
I got $3,500. What's up? Ain't gonna work no more.
And that was crazy to me. Like, especially being, you know, just putting down the athletic side of what it was that I was doing. That was something that for a long time, like, I never really fully understood that. And I think that kind of bring me back to the point that I was making earlier, is that this is easy to me because I feel like I'm standing, not to sound political, but I feel like I'm standing on the right side of history when I'm doing this. Like,
yeah,
this is what, you know, this is what makes, for myself, this is what makes it worth it. You know, and I think, you know, these are moments that I really appreciate.
For years, there's been just a couple of key artists in Florida that could just go anywhere and perform without even having a radio record. Mm-hmm. I think you were one of them, Rick Ross, mm-hmm. Iceberg,
yeah,
and a couple of others, man. And I always wondered, like, how was this dude, like, really still getting money and not even, like, banging radio like that?
I think the times change. I feel like the goalposts are always moving in this industry. So I used to be, I'm probably no different than any other artist. Like, at one point you knew when you wanted the real money, it had to line up at radio. At least I knew that.
Yeah.
And that's still the same though. But I think with social media being kind of what it is, it's, you know, it's people, it's kids out here that's running around, that's, you know, that's packing out venues that I have no clue of what's going on.
Yeah,
you know?
and actually, we just had 3 artists out here that got signed. I don't know if you heard about it. Usually when we talk, you usually ask me.
What 3? I was gonna ask you.
Yeah, you always ask me who's popping, who's doing what.
Yeah.
Dominic Fike from Naples just got signed to. I forgot the label. It wasn't RC. I forgot where. But then you had D. Goodson.
Okay.
And Susie Soprano just got signed to Trina.
Okay. Yeah, I heard about the Trina move.
You heard about that?
Yeah.
So there's eyes on Southwest Florida right now.
Yeah. I feel like it. Believe it or not, I got to make sure I format this the right way.
Yeah.
When I say it, but
you opened the door for all of that though.
I feel like the city opened the door for itself. Like the game that I took from my mixtape days up until this point, like, that's a true embodiment of the Dunbar community for the most part. The part I was saying, I'm gonna make sure I say it the right way, is the eyes have always been on Fort Myers. Like, if you listen to artists that's popping in the state, you hear the Fort Myers in it. Like, it ain't no, it ain't no way around that. Like, when you go to Classic and when you go to, you know, statewide events, you know, not to sound, you know, no kind of way, but Fort Myers was popping. Like, everybody trying to be where we at. You know what I mean? And I feel like I don't take credit for that. I feel like I was the first one on a national level to take it all around the world.
You gotta clear something up for me.
What up?
Are you still signed with Sip and Slide? Are you still?
Yeah.
Okay. There's always been a rumor that you walked down to Miami. You went down to Miami, busted in the office, Slip and Slide office. So Touche was like, "Hey," had a bag of money and threw the bag of money at him. It was like, "I don't need money. Hey. I just want to prove to you that I'm the hottest dude in Florida right now.
Hey, that was
Is that true or not?
That's a dope story. I want to go with that. That motherfucker, that sounded so gangster. I actually want to go with that story, actually. Nah, man, I think when Ted got wind of what it was that we was doing, it was for a dude that was, I guess, like an A&R for his company at the time.
Yeah.
And we was moving around then, you know what I mean? And he ended up flying Mike Herron down. I think we was in Fort Lauderdale. That was, I think, probably my first time.
Atlanta?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was probably my first time in Fort Lauderdale. And I think I don't know, I'm guessing now, but I probably did 3,500 people. And it was just a crazy vibe. It was a crazy show. But for Ted, he kind of knew, when he signed us, he kind of knew how we still was living at the time. You know what I mean?
Okay.
He knew what it was for conspiracy purposes.
You ain't gotta explain it.
Right.
You ain't gotta explain it.
For us, you know, I think looking back at it, that's what I always gave him credit for, was that I don't know if those situations really exist no more. Like, we was moving as an indie then, obviously just off of street knowledge and the information that, you know, we had obtained from, you know, being able to go off to school for a little bit.
Yeah.
But he took a chance with that. And I think for me, I don't even know if I would have took a chance with that, looking back at it, because anytime you invest in your money into artists, and I think a lot of artists don't understand this part of it, but it's like now, like, I'm not willing to put $100,000 in an artist just for him to start popping, for him to tell me what he ain't gonna do no more.
Is anyone else, do you got any artists anymore?
No, the only artist I really had signed was Extra.
Okay.
That I actually went to sign.
Okay.
The other artist that was on the label was an artist that my brother had actually signed.
Okay.
Still in a good space with Extra. I still feel like he was probably the most talented dude that I met. But for me, when I look back at it and I look how the game didn't change, labels ain't really signing artists no more and giving you $1 million or 200 feet. Them days are like over. So
that's like the Cash Money days.
Yeah. So for me, you know, I think anytime you have somebody that's willing to invest time and money into you, you know, that's a privileged situation. And I don't think artists really look at it like that no more. I think I've learned most artists are, show me the way. And then as soon as they think they popping, they want to drive.
Yeah. Now we got to go back to the single, man. Only the above. I don't know why you don't want to talk about it that much, but
what, man?
Me knowing you don't really rock with that many people.
Nah, not at all.
Standoffish. You don't do a lot of tracks with a lot of people. What made you jump on the track with Kevin Gates, or have him jump on your track?
Personal favorite of mine. First and foremost, I think right up there with Kodak.
That's another one. Yeah.
Both of them, you know, obviously doing well for themselves, done well for themselves. I feel like I had with KG, it was more kind of a deeper situation. I think with Kodak's situation, you know, I look at Kodak all the time and say, I don't even currently know how old Kodak is, 18 or 19. But I said, that's an amazing situation to be driving your ship at 18, 19. You be your own boss. You know, you being a millionaire artist, to have to be able to navigate through the streets, through life, corporate America, through life, through everything.
Yeah.
And I know for me at 18 and 19, I wasn't prepared, nor ready, nor interested in doing that. But with KG, his situation was...
You know they cool when you call him KG, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you talking about KG?
Nah,
yeah.
I call him KG too, because everybody know when I say Gates, most of the time I'm talking about my brother.
Okay.
So I be trying to make sure
I was like, damn, you know Kevin Garnett too? Damn.
Yeah, so with him, it was just, you know, it's like they always told me about going around on a recruiting trip for football. They always told me that once you got to the place that was for you, you was gonna know it. It was gonna feel right. And I feel like that's how I view relationships too.
All right.
Like that was just a relationship that the first time we ran across each other just felt right. So this particular record was just one of them situations where when he was locked up at the time, we had this record in the can, and my brother was like, nah, we ain't put nobody else on this record until he come home. Like,
oh, you sat on it?
Yeah, we want him to bless this record. So it was something that, you know, mutually we agreed to. But I remember getting the record back when he signed it. I think I signed it to KG, he probably signed it back in like 45 minutes. And to hear him on the other end tell me this it, man. Like I've never liked the record this much. I think probably the first 2 weeks after the record was recorded, I think I heard from KG every day about that record.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, Purple Heart been coming for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
When's it dropping?
Hey, man, it's just one of them things.
We've been waiting. It's like the Chronic.
Hey, you know what?
We've been waiting.
No, I heard somebody tell me that the other day, actually.
Or is it better to just drop singles now in this climate?
They've always worked for me.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Quest, I'm a body of work guy. Like, I can't tell my story through singles.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, the full story that I want to tell is through a full body of work. Like my brother, him just being him. You know, that's one thing that I love about our relationship, because he respect what I do, I respect what he do. You know, we have the back and forth moments, but he controls everything music. Like, I just make the music, make it on my own time, send it to him. What he decided to go and decide to put out, that's always worked for us.
The first album, what was it called? Was it
Real Testament?
Thank you, Hoops.
Yeah, man. That's my guy right there too.
Is that right? All right. I think it was, I forgot the year, Ozone Awards.
Yep.
Miami.
Yep.
Lil Wayne comes out and says, go get that Plies album.
Big.
First thing I did, I hit you up. I said, bruh.
Yeah, that was big.
Yo, Lil Wayne just shouted you out. I didn't know you knew Lil Wayne. He like, you was like, I don't even know him.
Yeah, I had never met never met Wayne at the time. Like,
what was that feeling, man, to hear a person like Wayne?
I think for me, I had a couple of those moments. Like the Wayne moment was just a big moment. I think being fresh out the streets and still 1 foot in, 1 foot out at the time that happened, instinctively, it was just to act like it wasn't a big deal.
Oh yeah, that's nice. That's just Lil Wayne. That's just Weezy.
Yeah, that was instinctively was the thing that I remember feeling at the time. I remember it was a moment like that with Ross, and that I forgot. I think what record was that? He was talking. He said, "Got him hate talking like Plies."
Plies, yeah.
Like, and them was the moments that when I look back at it now, and I'm just that way about life. Like, even just the simple things about living, I just appreciate that more now, because I know for me being an artist, the first time I said somebody's name, I sat with that for like 2 months.
Really?
Yeah, because it was a artist egotistical pride thing. Like, I was like, do I really want people to know?
But you don't mess with nobody. That's the thing.
But that's
how you are.
Let me reel that phrase in, that I don't mess with nobody. I think that's a misconception about me. One thing I've always thought, and I think it's something that Fort Myers instilled in me. Like, I don't know if it's still that way around here, but when you ain't know people, you just didn't speak to them.
That's true.
You just didn't speak to them. Being friendly wasn't.
And that's the term, I ain't friendly.
Yeah, what was never accepted.
Yeah, right.
In my environment and my conditions and the people that I was around. So when I first got in the industry, I was 100% Fort Myers. Like, that's just how I moved. Like, when I signed with Slip and Slide, my biggest thing was I ain't want them to feel like I needed them for nothing. Like, they had powerhouse artists that was already there. Mm-hmm. They was already made artists. So I ain't want to be the guy that needed a feature. So for me, I just went out here and got it. Like, I went and made my own situation to the point that I didn't have to depend on made artists to co-sign me or to push me over the edge. So once that worked for me, you know, in my first album, I never had rap features because it was just a principal thing of mine. Like, I just wanted to show people that I was able to do what I felt I could do on my own, and that's one of the things that I told it to KG last night. We was talking, and I told him, I said,
KG.
Yeah, I said, you know, his first album was the same way. He had no features on his first project. So for me, I felt like the standoffish thing that come with me, it's something that's not really what I'm trying to give off.
Yeah, it's just how you
I'm
came
just,
up.
Yeah, and I'm moving how I'm moving because I'm fine with being self-dependent.
Okay, let me ask you this. The Drake album.
Yeah.
How did it come about? Did you get a phone call say he's gonna use your voice on it, or did it just pop up? Or
I was in New York, and my brother hit me.
Say the phrase real quick.
Which phrase was that?
Oh, you mad?
Oh yeah, nah. Something gotta happen for me to say. Shit, I can't just say that. I ain't feeling like that.
I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
I really, to be honest with you, I was listening to the Drake album on my computer, right?
Yeah.
And when that came on, I thought it just skipped to like your YouTube video. Right. I was like, well, what the hell going on with this computer? And I was like, hold up, Plies is on the album.
Yeah.
Did you feel some type of way that he used your voice but didn't do a record with you?
Nah.
Cause I was mad. I was like, how he just gonna have the skit on there and not do a song with Plies?
Nah, you know what? I never felt like that because I know it's artists that feel like that about me. You know what I mean? And for that situation to be what it is, like, I just felt it spoke volumes of.
You getting a check from that, right?
I just felt it spoke volumes.
It's a pretty big check, ain't it?
I just felt it spoke volumes of
no wonder you ain't worried about it.
Of who he was, man. Like, I think that's what make Drake dope. Like, people who rock with him, you can't like Drake or not like Drake and not understand that he's a student of the game. That's just period. Like, he show you too many moves.
Yeah, he
that
is.
allows you to know that he is
paying attention,
knee deep about being a student of the game.
He is. Purple Heart.
Yep.
Can we expect any other collabs?
Quite a bit.
You ain't gonna tell us what it is, are you?
And quite a bit from the standpoint that I've learned that too, studying my own situation and my own craft. That when you have a fan base, believe it or not, they get excited when you work with other people.
Exactly.
It's like being from Fort Myers. Like, when you get a situation locally and you start popping, the hourglass starts because the city is rooting for you because they want to be able to tell people, I know him, he from the city. But you got to understand, when you get a situation popping, you got to hurry up and figure out how to get big outside of your city. Because if you just stay big locally, they start rooting for you.
That's true. That's true.
So with those situations being, you know, how they are, it's a chestnut checker situation.
We got to get out of here real soon. But I want to ask you, have you heard about all the violence that's been going on in South City?
I always hear about it.
And all the killings and.
Yep.
I know. Back in the days we coined the phrase "Little Pakistan," but now it's really getting bad. Like, what would you say to the youth out here? Because it's the young people out here doing it.
It's the
Because it's not the OGs.
Make sure I say it. This was tricky about the streets, and I know the streets to work. When you become that guy in the city, or whether you the one with the bag, you get to make up your clique, your squad. You get to make up everybody who's up under you. 10 out of 10, them the people that when you push the button, they go make it happen for you. looking back at it for myself, that's one of the misconceptions about the streets that I don't currently agree with. And for an example, what I'm insinuating is when you, I don't know, 30-some years old, 40-some years old, 50-some years old, and just because you popping or you got the bag, you got 20 young cats that's 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, who's willing to throw their life away for you. Whatever it is, whatever your problem is, it becomes their problem. But where it gets tricky at is when it's a problem, you ain't gonna make, majority of the time, you ain't the one that's gonna go make it shake. You gonna go tell them to make it shake, and for them to show their love and their loyalty to you, they gonna go make it shake. But when it goes wrong and it falls apart, when often it does, that's the problem of it that I look back and say, damn, as being the older cats, if we really cared about them, we'll show them how to get some money as opposed to how to throw their life away. But the flip side of that is when you in it, you don't look at that as being wrong. I didn't look at it as being wrong. It's a lot of things I look at as being wrong now that when you currently in it, you don't look at it that way.
So how do we change that? How do we?
First of all, the younger cats that's coming up, and I tell my little cousin them all the time. Give you an example. I always have people that see me and they say, hey, Plies, just let me get on the road for you, man. Like, hey, man, just whatever you need done, man. Need me to whack them, just tell me what you need from me. And after studying that phrase and hearing it from a lot of people, I told somebody one time who actually asked me that, I said, I couldn't have you around me. And they said, what you mean? I said, because you don't even care about your own life, so I know you'll get me fucked up.
Liability.
You don't even care enough about you. You willing to throw you away. I need you to care about you in order to be around me. Because if you care about you, you ain't even gonna let me do some stupid shit because you care about you. So I feel like to answer your question, with the younger cats, they gotta care about them first. Your life gotta mean the world to you. Because if, regardless of you from a single parent home, it's a million people that have made a lot of money from a single parent home. Until they start caring and understanding they value as being young kings, if they never embrace that, they'll continue to be crash dummies.
That's real. That's real. Well, I want to thank you for coming out, man.
Hey, man, I want to thank you.
I appreciate you.
Man, I'm going to say this before we get out of here. I tell you this all the time, man, and I think the more I get a better understanding of me and what it is that I'm trying to do, the more I not only value and appreciate, our friendship, our relationship, but the more I understand it. I told you, probably one of the last couple times we talked, like, for me, I have tunnel vision most of the time, man. It ain't all about a bag with me that I'm always chasing the bag. It's just things now that, for myself, that I just find interesting on my own time. So my relationship with you is one of those relationships where I don't have to talk to you for 2-3 weeks or a month. And when I see you, it's like this.
Well, I mean, you do change your number like every week, though. I'm just saying, though. Hey, cool. But you know what? To be honest with you, like, probably about 5 years ago, I didn't understand you. Like, I'd be like, why I can't get a hold of Plies?
Right.
Next week, your number changed. Yeah. Next week, your number changed. And it's like, I'm like, I'm not playing his music no more. Right. You text me and was like, oh, it's like that. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember the conversation.
Yeah, man.
That ain't a public conversation, but I remember.
But no, but I'm keeping 100. We good now, but like, I got to understand the type of person you are and what you deal with, and what you go through.
But for me, I think the difference was with myself. I stood outside of my situation and said, let me see how Quest look at it too. This was somebody that was around, when we got it popping.
I've been fighting for you since day one.
Yeah.
I'll say it out loud like
this is a person that always supported the situation. It's like holidays, it's like birthdays. Like my brother, he don't care to celebrate them.
Yeah.
But one thing that he made me understand is, even though you don't care about them, be thoughtful that other people do. And that's how I look at me and your situation. Like, for me, I just looked at it like, I know big homie rooting for me and he happy for me and I'm gone. But I had to look at it through your lens and understand, damn, it's like my mom always say, you got to pick up the phone sometime. You know what I mean? Because the things that are important to you, you make time for them. And I think it was that way then, is that way now. And one thing I never shied away from is being accountable. Like, I have no problem with saying, damn, you know what, bro? I feel you, I get it. And in radio world, I don't know if it's still like that now, but that definitely how it used to be, back in the days. Like me and Cannon was talking about it earlier. You want to fuck with artists that support you. Like, that's typical. That's how life go. You know what I mean? Like, I want to like an artist. If I'm motherfucking sign you, I want to like you too. You know what I mean? So for me, I've been forced not to be thin-skinned for a long time, not be egotistical enough to believe that I got to where I'm at on my own. Like, whether it's from, I don't even know if it was scrappy days, You
mean the dude that didn't want to play your music back then? Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead. Whether it was all them days, man, for me, I look at those situations and I say, like it, love it, or indifferent, I'm thankful for the good and the bad through my whole entire journey. Because one bad situation that I went through, I always look at it, if that situation never happened, that probably could have been the thing that turned it all around for me, made me understand and made me get it. So whether it's the good or the bad, I don't shy away from none of it.
Man, I think about this all the time, man. Even though we got to go, every time something happens to you, I'm like, dang. Because you're not a bad person. You don't go looking for trouble.
Trouble is easy to get.
But then you got people like Tekashi 6ix9ine that go looking for it. And then stuff like, you go to TSA, end up with the TSA situation, or the dude jump on stage. I'm like, Plies don't go looking for trouble.
But I don't want to say it's part of it, because one of the things I pride myself in, Quest, is to not do things that don't make me appear to be smart.
Okay.
Contrary to the belief, that people had a stigma, or, the whole thing about being smart ain't cool. I'm never gonna ever allow myself to believe that. Like,
that's how you end up broke, not being smart.
Yeah. So for me, whether it's the TSA situation or, a different situation,
I will say I had that TSA situation happen myself too. But
did you?
We're not gonna talk. We'll talk about it off the air.
Okay. Yeah, but that was,
So I understood it.
But of course, that was the situation for me, and my guys will tell you, like, I always worried about that happening. Like, anytime my bag go through, and it's something that's taking a little longer than normal.
Thinking, damn, we're not leaving there.
It's like the police getting behind you. Like, you ain't done shit, but you just like, man, it's my license.
You make sure the seatbelt's on nice and tight.
Yeah. And so when that situation happened, and then they red flagged me that it was a firearm in my bag. You know, it was a licensed firearm to me. I didn't have my permit on me at the time. What was crazy about it, they said it had just happened 15 minutes before it was somebody else that had their firearm in their bag.
It happened to someone else that we know too, but we'll talk about that.
Oh, okay. So, and also, you know, through blessings, man, I had a last Tuesday, I think. You know, I had to show them my actual gun permit, so they decided not to even file it. So
that's dope.
You know, I was overly excited about that. Like
sometimes God gotta sit you down in weird ways.
Yeah, but Quest, I be telling God, man, hey man, don't not
like
the
this,
jail
right?
way, man. Yeah, man, that's, you know, it is.
Because you never know. What if you would have went on that plane or went somewhere? No. You're trying to protect you from something else.
Quest, I'm gonna tell you how you 1,000% right. I was going to New York. I was going to New York. So by me flying out of the airport all the time, like everybody know me there. So that particular day, it was a guy that was there in training who was actually working the TSA scanner machine. So he didn't know me. So when he seen what was in the bag, he called his boss over, and his boss was a guy that was actually sitting in, that was like his first couple of days there in that particular airport. So when I look back at it and
New York got zero tolerance for guns.
Zero. So if I would have made it through there and got on my plane and went to New York, I would have never knew it was in my bag. Because I never knew it was in there. So I would have never knew it was in my bag, and now I'm in New York. Anything could have happened. We could have got randomly searched in the airport. I could have got randomly stopped, and then that was a real situation.
Crazy.
So for me, besides the 8 hours in jail,
you was in there for 8 hours?
Yeah, you always gonna be in there 8 hours in Tampa, man. Like it don't even.
Oh, you was in Tampa? Oh.
Yeah, you don't even. It don't move faster than that.
Orient Road.
Plus, you know too much about this, man.
I don't build.
Oh, okay.
My brother live in Tampa. He been in jail a lot of times.
Yeah. So it's just and I think even that process, man. I had what I consider humbling experiences, and I'm always trying to find why something is the way it is.
Yeah.
And so seeing people in there in situations who was on their way to go pick up their kids, and there was something wrong with the tag, or it's like I tell people all the time, man, trouble is so easy to get into and so hard to get out of. And it's almost impossible to get out of it if you don't have the financial means to protect yourself.
That's real. Some people end up getting stuck.
Innocent as they can possibly be. But
good thing you making money.
And that's why the political side of it to me is so important now, because before I thought it was just about having money, and it ain't just about having money. Like politically, if you can understand and figure out what's going on out here, the political power is just as important as the money.
That's real.
Because you got people that's, Braun does well for himself, but it's people that make less than Braun who make the rules and regulations that Braun
Speaking of Braun, when we going to put school in Fort Myers? What's up?
A school in Fort Myers?
Plies and Quest School of Arts. I like the sound of that.
You like the sound of that? We gotta, you know what? The thing I feel about those schools, it's like now studying preparatory schools. Like when I was here, we had the Bishop Rose, I think Evangelica, and those different schools. But
now you got like IMG.
We was just like, it was the soft schools. Yeah. We was like, man, we ain't going there.
Yeah,
but that was just through a football lens that we looked at it that way. But when you look at it, those are where they put in the best of the best from a teacher standpoint. Anyway, so I think anytime you doing stuff with schools, man, I think it's about being able to research and find those teachers that you're willing to pay,
Man, Plies, we need you back in for Nines, bro. You know what you're talking about.
I never left. Like,
when the music's done, you need to come down, maybe run for mayor or something.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Nah.
What's up?
You know what? And I don't know.
Congressman Plies.
Politically, I don't know if people agree with me on that, but I think anytime you running for governor or mayor, or I'm gonna refrain from that. That's whatever.
All right, we getting out of here, but I got one last question.
What up? Let's do it.
Have you ever met Kirk Franklin?
Never.
Okay, that's all I want to know.
No, nah.
That's all I wanted to know.
We talked via social media a couple times.
Cause y'all look like brothers, goddammit.
You know, it was crazy, man.
But I'm looking at you right now, and I'm like,
listen, I remember back when I was in high school, people used to tell me that, like, it was somebody that was from New Orleans.
Even in high school?
Yeah, it was somebody in New Orleans, but I never knew who Kirk Franklin was at the time. So.
That's what you need to be for Halloween.
Kirk Franklin.
Do you want a revolution?
You know what? I always said if people can pass you to somebody that had a few dollars, then you just do it.
It's all right.
Yeah, so
Plies, man, thank you for coming through, man.
I appreciate you having me, man. Thank you.
Love when you come back home, man. And
Shorty, what up, man?
We gonna open the school.
What up?
Is Shorty like the first PD you met shorter than you?
That's pretty close. We gonna form a group together, me and Shorty.
You my babe, you my gift, you my all of the above. You get dick, you get gifts, you get all of the above. Stay down, all of the above. I'm in lust, I'm in love, I'm in all of the above.
Can't stay down like drinking dick. Send me them news when you miss your kid. They can't make me cheat on you. Ain't nothing you can do to make me beat on you. When I get home, can I eat on you? I'm through late night, I put D on you. Box so good, she legendary. Crush little mama unnecessary. Got a nigga hard like February. What we got ain't monetary. She my independent girl. Say she love me minute girl. She been around for a minute girl. I take care of you and your mama girl. House stay clean like polish do. You know these chicks keep up with you. Christian, Louis Vuitton, got me and babe drippin'. Ayy, bottle after bottle coming. Me and babe sippin'.